Welcome to tonight's It's Been a Long Ass Time version of the Clown Hour podcast. I'm Scott Burks. Please continue to check me out on YouTube. Um, or you can also check me out on Facebook as well. It's been a while. I had to think for a minute. Just search for the Clown Times, it's Clown spelled with K. You'll find me there as well. And last but not least, you can check out my website that I need to update. So it's www.theclowntimes.net. I've been doing a lot of shorts. I've been doing a lot of videos on TikTok. TikTok's like a drug. We may not have it around after this weekend, but that's neither here nor there. But the point is that I told myself, I kept telling myself, I need to get back to the podcasting side of things. So I'm finally back. It's been the 2-3 months, probably more than that, but nevertheless, your boy's back. And on the way, he got his old partner back going the wrong way. Y'all know him from the r/HBCU Sports Rest about all things HBCU Sports, as well as Sleazy Radio every Tuesday night on Facebook Live and YouTube. And last but not least, his great work on herosports.com, rest for all things HBCU athletics. The one and only Dwayne Nash is back in the house. How you doing, sir?
It's like seeing that old member of that wrestling tag team that you liked that left for a minute and came back. It's like when the old Four Horsemen gets back together, or when D-Generation X gets back. Yeah, it's one of those moments. So I'm glad to be back, brother. It's been an interesting month and a half. Been away from the East Coast for the majority of the past month. Actually was down in Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl, of course, for that matchup. And
Nice.
then, got some R&R out in Cali before coming back to the cold East Coast.
Shout out to the little sister. Shout out to the little sister in Cali. There you go.
I'm glad she still likes me. She likes keeping me out there for a minute. That's always pleasant.
Speaking of likes, you have a lot to be happy about this in the NFL season. Your beloved Washington Commanders, not only did they become a playoff team, they actually have a young guy by the name of Jaden Daniels, who maybe should be a rookie of the year unless something's really, 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 really wrong. But rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels, I'm calling him right now. He led you guys not only to the playoffs unexpectedly, but to the second round with a walk-off field goal in Tampa. So you gotta love this young man. I see you excited there, but you gotta love this young brother right quick. Jaden Daniels, 24-35, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, 80.3 quarterback rating, QBR for those of you who don't know. He was also the leader rusher with 36 rushing yards and 13 carries, which is a little bit part of Mackett, which is running game. But the point is this. I seen you on social media in your story pictures on Facebook with that Washington Commanders hat and you smile and you're like, I wish I would have screenshot. I would share the screen. But I said, this African American is happy. He's been happy all season, and he's happy after last weekend's game. And so we'll get to the Detroit matchup later. But I want to give the floor to you to let you expound on your long time coming, long suffering happiness.
Now, I will say this. Actually, we don't necessarily need a screenshot, because if the viewers just go back to the interview that we had when Josh Harris took over ownership of the team, that entire outfit I had on with the Commander's hat, the sunglasses, and the 2 chains, that's what that photo is.
Okay.
That photo is from that day. So I've most definitely have been using that photo ever since Harris took ownership of the team.
Yes.
Used it only a couple of times last year because it was Rivera's last season. He only got us 4 wins, and thank God that was the case. And that, along with the fact that the Giants decided they wanted to go on a run late last year to ruin their draft stock. So applause to the New York Giants to help us get to that number 2 spot to get Jaden Daniels.
Right.
Now, with that said, my thought process, and if anyone's been watching me anyplace else, from the preseason up until, say, like September, early October, my expectations for the Commanders was for them to hopefully get me at least 7 wins as a fan. If they were to do that, I would have been a happy man. And when they got to that 7th win, matter of fact, Scott, I don't know if you remember, they actually were 7-2.
That's correct.
So that was like the one of their best starts in almost a decade. So that 7-2 start, man, I was on the top of the world. I didn't, and it was also on top of the standings. Now, I didn't think that would be a situation that would last for the rest of the season. I had a feeling that the Philadelphia Eagles would be able to turn it around, which they did. And, they will be battling with the Eagles for at least first place and at worst, a wild card spot. So that's exactly what they did. But if there was a way, if you would have told me when the season started that matter of fact, if you would have told me when the Commanders went on that 3-game losing streak, they lost to Baltimore, that unfortunate loss to your Pittsburgh Steelers, only to get capped off with that tragic loss at home against the Cowboys. If you'd have told me that they would have went on a 5-game win streak and finished the season with 12 wins, number one, I was been like, what you talking about, Willis? Number two, I would have been happy because 12 wins, again, is something I did not expect this team to be. Right. Especially playing the way that they've been playing, and not just the gambling of one Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury going for it on fourth down a lot of times, foregoing punts and having some of the least punts in the season for a team. Matter of fact, they didn't punt at all in their playoff when their wild card win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if you would have told me that was the case, and also, if you would have told me that if the Commanders were to have the ball at the end of the fourth quarter with the game on the line and that things will be wrapped up and I would be comfortable with it, I would have called you a liar. But on Sunday, late in the fourth quarter, tie ball game, Commanders get the ball back with a little bit over 3.5 to go. Jaden Daniels is walking on that field. I had a sigh of relief. I said, this is over. The question is how? Are they going to go ahead and try to score a touch? Or are they going to go ahead and get in field goal range? They got in field goal range. Now, your boy Gonzalez made it a little tight by doinking that goalpost. I still say if you hit the goalpost, you should still get 1 point for that. Because that's hard. I don't care what nobody says. Of course. But of course, I will never get that. But still, the fact that they won it the way that they did in walk-off fashion against the team that they started out the season with a loss to felt like redemption to me. And now they end up going. Rematch.
That's right.
Yes, most definitely is a rematch. Yeah. And now with 13 wins, with the playoff win, giving them 13 wins, it is the most wins that they've had in a season dating back to when? Do you know, Scott?
No, sir.
1991, the last time they won a Super Bowl. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Now let me go ahead. I'm sorry. No. Go ahead. No, I was going to just take the temperature of Commander Nation. It's taking me habits of not saying the other word nation that I've been saying most of my whole entire life. But your facial expression sold it when I asked you about the temperature of Commander Nation right now. It has to be crazy in DC right now.
Hot like fish grease. Everywhere you turn around now. I mean, just the change from a year ago to the day is speaks volumes on the success of the organization and the play of one Jaden Daniels. Right. Well, not just Jaden by himself. He's most definitely getting a ton of help. And you got a whole lot of fan favorites, of course, like your boy Bobby Wagner coming from Seattle, Frankie Louvu coming from Carolina, the steady man and Terry McLaurin, right. B-Rob. They're just matter of fact, as you can see, I got my beard trimmed and on my way back home tonight. The amount of Commander stuff I saw walking the streets, you wouldn't have seen that a year ago. Now you got the fans coming out, they supporting the team, they rocking the gear. It's as close to the last time I've had this feeling like this was 2012, of course, Brittle Bob's rookie season. But for whatever reason, this feels a whole lot different. Oh, my man. God.
Dude. And I'm happy for your fans because as you know, obviously, I know this. Most fans know this. Washington has some great fans. Football. It's football all day, all the time. I mean, I don't give a damn about how great the Capitals are doing, which a lot of people love the Capitals in the DC area. Don't
Well,
get me
most
wrong about
definitely.
that.
And don't they have the best record in the league right now,
They probably
or something
do
like that?
because they're ahead of my
Yeah.
Hurricanes right now, so I know that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing the damn thing, and Alexander Ovechkin is always going to be my guy. Um, you know what I mean. But even with the success of the Capitals, even with the success of winning the Stanley Cup, like shit, well, 9, 7, 8, 9 years ago, something like that.
It was
It was
about.
before 2020. I know that it was
It
before
was
the
most definitely
pandemic.
before 2020. I want to say it might have been around 2018, 2017, 2018, something like that. But
Yeah.
to your point, right?
Yes.
So if you know this region most definitely is known for its basketball, right?
Yeah.
But Georgetown is making a resurgence. Maryland is just Maryland. Um, the Wizards.
Yeah. Come
What can you say,
on.
right?
Yeah.
The Caps are playing better, but they just recently won a Stanley Cup. The same thing with the Nats. They've won one within the past decade.
Mm-hmm.
But this town is a Redskins / Commanders town.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they do well, the buzz in the city as it pertains to sports gets that much more enthusiastic, and it
Yeah.
most definitely is seen throughout the city. And everyone, my God, is falling back in love with this franchise. And I can't wait with the city now having control over the land and where RFK currently stands. If they get the okay to build that stadium over there, and this team continues to play like this,
And where
but
where
this
where where
buzz
where
is
in the district are they building that, or did they want to build where in the district?
the old site where RFK currently
Oh
stands.
wow, that's dope,
Yes.
man. That would be
So
hella dope. That's
yeah,
going
so the Senate has
back to
approved
the future.
so that DC can take control over that site,
Yeah,
and they're getting ready to demolish RFK soon. And my guess is they're going to go ahead of course, Muriel Bowser, the mayor here, and Josh Allen have been in communications, of course, about what they want to do with that space.
sure.
The mayor of Philadelphia has told Muriel Bowser that doing business with Josh Harris is going to be wonderful for the city. So they're getting all types of cosigns and green stamps, green OK stamps to go ahead and get ready to build that stadium. And this season is most definitely going to be the precipice for all of that coming into fruition. And if that happens, the winning continues to happen,
Mhm.
oh my God, it's going to feel like the 80s all over again.
Now, when you mentioned that the mayor working with the new owner and
Mm-hmm.
his ownership group, to me, that's the translation of "fuck you, Danny Boy Snyder."
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Most definitely.
just spit a
Towards the
buck.
end, towards the end of his ownership,
Mm-hmm.
he most definitely was a pariah. It felt as though that most definitely no DC politician wanted to have any ties with whatsoever.
Yeah,
Same thing could be said with the majority of Maryland and even the state of Virginia. There were some who hitched themselves to him,
yeah.
like your
Heard
boy
that Richmond heard they want to put a stadium
down.
down by Woodbridge or
Exactly,
below
right?
Woodbridge. Yeah, below
Yeah.
Woodbridge. Yeah,
So
that'd
excuse
be
me,
crazy.
even with that conversation, even with
Mm-hmm.
that starting, the state was still like, nah, bruh, not this Bama. No, sir,
Yeah.
not today. So now you got a whole new ownership that everyone seems to like right now, and a team that everyone seems to like right now. I got a strange feeling within the next year or so probably around 2026,
Right.
it may be announced that the team will go ahead and take control. Well, they will go ahead and take control over that site and end up building a new stadium and whatever down in that area.
Mm, there you go. Now, all of that good vibes that we've cultivated right now, all of that good vibes we're manifesting right now for your beloved Commanders and the fellow fans in the DC area. Well, one more thing before I go into that. Are we still seeing a lot of Dallas crap in DC? Are we still seeing a lot of Dallas merchandise?
A lot of it, God no, because I mean, what are they hanging their hat on? Let's be
Okay.
realistic.
I'm just pointing out because I remember the years I've spent there. I saw just as much Dallas crap as I seen back then Redskin stuff. So
and rightfully so, because at that point in time,
yeah,
the Skins were bad.
yeah,
And the Cowboys were most definitely, if they weren't winning divisional titles, they were competing for
they
them.
were competing
And they
with me.
most definitely was not only just that, they were beating the Commanders, well, beating the Redskins, and beating them quite regularly.
Yeah,
So we've had this discussion before about the fan base here, about the Dallas fan base especially, how they most definitely love attention, and to go ahead and get them dubs over to the Redskins. That's the way
yeah.
to poke them every time after a win. Hey, we got your number. We got your number. Now they kind of showed up a little bit after that win in the middle of the season, but it's been quiet ever since. It's
Yeah.
been quiet ever
Fire their
since.
coach and everything. Um,
Yeah,
but with all the good vibes aside, now comes reality.
yeah.
To quote to quote Diana Taurasi, um, it's coming. I know I butchered that, but I don't remember exactly what she said. That it's coming. Not reality is coming. I guess reality is
Yeah.
coming. But you have gone the road to face the top seeded Detroit Lions. When's the last time we've been able to say that the top seeded
Never,
Detroit Lions?
never.
Not.
This is the first time.
There
Never.
you go. There you go. So with that being said, they're going to be rocking. Detroit's
Yeah.
feeling themselves. Detroit versus everybody. They're feeling
Yes.
themselves. So how do you think? How do you like your beloved Commanders' chances in the Lions this weekend?
What they say in the movie Dumb and Dumber? So you say I have a
They have a
chance.
chance. There you go.
Now, there used to be an old phrase back in the day as it pertains to lottery, but their slogan used to be, you got to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
And the Commanders are in it. So they have an opportunity. Now, the question is exactly how competitive will this game be, and whether or not, how much of a chance do the Commanders have of winning? Like I said before, I feel comfortable when JD5 is on the field. And if it's fourth quarter and it's within range to be had, will he have an opportunity to win this game for them? Potentially. I'll be comfortable with that.
Right.
I'll also be pulling whatever little bit of hair I got on my head out when it happens, because of course that's what they do. But they've been the cardiac commanders all season long. My thing is, though, a couple of things. Number one, the running game. We've already seen what Gibbs has done, especially with your boy Montgomery when he set out, how good Gibbs has looked towards the end of the year.
Right.
Montgomery now comes back. That gives him another 1-2 punch. And Montgomery doesn't have to be really 100 what he used to be, because we've seen greatness great play out of Gibbs while he was gone, right?
Right.
One of the issues that the Commanders has had throughout the entire year is stopping the run. They'll be intrigued to see what happens when they're faced with this offense of Detroit that most definitely can do both run and pass the ball extremely well. I want to see if they end up playing the run of Detroit the same way that they dealt with Atlanta with Bijan Robinson when he came to DC and put up 100 in the first half. And then they put Deron Payne on the end to kind of quench that, which he did. I also want to say it was probably the play calling of Atlanta that kind of hurt them with that as well. But if they can somehow slow down, I'm not even going to say stop, because that's going to be unrealistic. If they can somehow slow down Detroit and not give them a couple of long drives. And also the other thing that I'm concerned about, even though both Dans do this, the fourth down gambles that they do, going for it on fourth down. Yes, Washington was 3 of 5 on fourth downs against Tampa. What they can't do is come up short on fourth downs like they did against Tampa in the red zone,
right,
or in critical situations. Because what I don't want to see is them fall short on a fourth down, Detroit get the ball and flip it into a touchdown score.
right.
If that happens, I'm going to be highly concerned. But I just have a fear because, some things just tend to go well for a long time. until it doesn't.
So
And I'm worried about whether or not this is the week that it doesn't. So, I'm hoping it's going to be a good game. Even though Vegas has them currently, well, last I looked, as a 10-point underdog going into Detroit, I don't think it'll be that bad, but it has the potential of doing so if it gets out of their hands. And the bad thing is, though, we've only seen a game get out of their hands like that twice this year. Once against Tampa, week 1, which everybody's getting their feet under them, and then that Dallas game. Those are the only 2 times I've seen a game get away from them. Even in games that they lost, the game against Pittsburgh, the game against Baltimore, they were still competitive. The game against Philly in Philly.
Yes.
It was competitive until that one point in time where it got away from them. And, they did have that late touchdown to make it close at the end. But, those are the only 3 games I can think of off the top of my head where games kind of gotten away from them. I'm just hoping it doesn't look like that Saturday up in Detroit.
I'm calling it right now. Detroit's going to score a lot of points. They've been scoring a lot of points all year.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me.
No, I'm not.
I got Lions 30, Washington 21.
Okay.
Not a blowout.
Say something like that. Yeah.
Not a blowout. I think it's going to be very competitive. I think that for this young man, JD5 as you call him, going to the Lions then, the hyped up ass Detroit 8-mile crowd / Dearborn crowd, Detroit versus everybody crowd. I think reality is about to come. But again, I think it's going to be competitive. It should be a hell of a game. I don't think Washington's afraid. Hell, they're playing with house money at this point. So I think the pressure's going to be obviously on the home team. But it's something about what's going on in Detroit right now. And seeing the same thing happen in Washington to an extent, it's a beautiful thing. 2 great, passionate fan bases, love their football to death. It's great to see. It's great to see this blast. I was going to say blast from the past. I said Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Because this reminiscent of the 80s with Barry Sanders and company, the Silver Stretch with Herman Moore and company, against, we all know the cast of characters of Washington, Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, the Fun Bunch, Dexter Manley, Charles Mann, later on Wilbur Marshall and company.
Yeah.
It's the Back to the Future, man, with those 2 franchises, the NFL in itself. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm looking forward to it. I can't fucking wait. I just put it that way. I can't fucking wait.
You know what the interesting thing is now, without looking, I truly believe 1991, the last time that Washington won at least 12 games, that playoff stretch when they went to the Super Bowl, I believe they ended up beating Detroit that year.
That's correct. You're correct.
At the crib.
Because 91 was the year that Barry Sanders and Detroit spanked the hell out of the Cowboys. And that was the NFC Championship game where they lost to your beloved Washington squad at RFK Stadium. Remember, like it was yesterday. Rest in peace to Pop. That was his team. Okay, so I want to close the podcast with this. We only got a few minutes, so I wanted to give you the lion's share, which is you've been carrying that burden for years and years and years and years. You finally get to exhale. You got a quarterback of the future who's not full of himself. You got a competent coaching staff.
I hope.
You hope. I don't think he's. I think it's a real.
I
nice
don't think
kid.
so either.
I think he's a real nice kid, very humble kid. You finally got a coaching staff that's worth a damn, and you finally have an ownership group that's not full of clowns. So I think this is the start of a renaissance of sorts for you guys. Again, great for you guys. Passionate fan base, one of the best fan bases all of football. Great to see. But I have to ask you this question because it pertains to me. With my Steelers losing this last 5 games of the season, including playoffs, got spanked in Baltimore yet again. Is this the last? I'm not going to ask you. I'll tell you. I think this is the last. This is the last straw for Mike Tomlin. I think Tomlin, if he's not going this year, he'll be going next year. Now I understand that he's working with crappy quarterbacks the last 4 or 5 years, including Big Ben's including Big. I'm sorry, I had a cited here. Including like Big Ben, or what I like to say, Large Benjamin's performance the last couple of years of his career. They held him for way too long. Um, it's still the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't go one and done. And the thing is, he's one more consecutive first round one and done loss away from tying a dubious record held by Marvin Lewis. Remember, Marvin Lewis never won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And I believe Marty Schottenheimer, which is why he got fired from Kansas City. No, I'm sorry, from San Diego. San Diego.
Yeah.
So, what do you see happening with the Steelers, with the head coaching in the next 2 seasons? I can just give it 2 seasons. What do you think is going to happen?
I feel it might go in that direction as well. Because of course there are, especially the fan base believes that they're pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe that, you might want to get a little bit more consistent play from your wideouts.
Right.
It's easy to say the quarterback play has been bad, and you link that most definitely to the way that the wideouts have been playing. But also don't forget that running game looked real bad against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Well, I would say on paper, because I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I looked at the stats.
It was crappy. Yeah, it was crappy. The running game is crap. It was hit and miss all year, but it was crappy the last 4 or 5 games of the season, including the playoffs.
And that's that's something that the Steelers most definitely love to hang their hats on, and most definitely can get their passing game going off that. If that's not working, especially in Baltimore, where a city where you're going to have to get physical and get beat them up in the trenches, and that doesn't happen, you're not going to win that game. But the thing is, if you move on from Mike Tomlin, where do you go?
Exactly.
Because you've gotten that consistency of winning, and I understand you guys want more. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers, freaking Steelers. You're used to more. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people who would wish to have a Mike Tomlin in there and being consistent and being good and being able to not have a losing season for an entire stretch of time. But I know you guys want more. So my guess is, if they can't take the time to improve the rest of the offense, in my personal opinion, and Mike Tomlin can at least get a playoff win, I think next year will be his last year. If they're not completely, well, the fan base is most definitely tired of it now. I want to see if ownership is tired of it, but next year most definitely be telling.
Yeah, the fan base been tired of it. And again, I don't think it's all his fault. I think, again, we held on to Big Ben way too long. Okay, that's number one. We bypassed drafts that had great quarterbacks in it, young quarterbacks in it. We put ourselves into a hole. And secondly, again, we just don't have the offensive talent to compete with Baltimore, with Cincinnati, with Kansas City, with I keep calling them San Diego, the Chargers, Buffalo. We don't have Houston. We can't. Houston beat our asses last year, so we're so far by the 8 ball. And to see Mike Tomlin continue to win, turning chicken shit to chicken salad, that only takes you for so far.
Yeah.
So unless we make a move at quarterback, guess the wide receivers there. I don't know how our salary cap situation is shaping up, but if we need wide receiver help, we need better offensive line play. We need better running backs. We just need better offense.
Yeah.
We need better offense. And if we don't get that, if we stand pat like we've been doing, it's not going to change. So it is what it is at this point. But we'll see about that.
But I just have one quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we go,
yes, please. Yes, sir.
One word answer. Is Justin Fields the answer?
Yes.
Ooh.
I think they need to give him time. He's young. He's not even 25 years old.
Yeah.
He's young. We went 4-2 with him. So if you give him more time to develop in that same offensive system, because he had several offensive coordinators in Chicago. So if we stay, I mean, much as people don't like Arthur Smith, if we keep some continuity, give him some time, because he can move, he can run. He didn't turn over. He was a turnover. He was the turnover machine as Russell Wilson was. So I think you give him time. Now, having said all that, I would still bring a good veteran quarterback into the room. But I, I think if we give Justin Fields a chance, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be special with time. I'm probably in the minority in that, but that's what I believe. So where would the good people find you? It's been a while, but where do people find you on social media?
Social media, always the Yard HBCU. You can most definitely find me there. All platforms. Going to be a little quiet this off season. Well, it's not even off season because there's always something going on. But I'm gonna be quiet, in the first half of the year's basketball season. So you'll still see me posting things here and there. But of course, football season comes around. That's when I gets busy. So get ready for the football season, especially around April once we start getting around to spring games. But yeah, you can always find me there. I'll most definitely be talking about what's going on as it pertains to basketball, what's going on men and women wise, what's going to happen with the tournaments and their seeding and stuff. And of course, whatever happens as it pertains to the NFL draft too. So come and visit me there and you'll see me and I'll have stuff to say about that as it pertains to HBCUs.
Nice. And please continue to check me out on YouTube, The Clown Times. I've been posting stuff on TikTok. You find me at Scott B Love Sports on TikTok. Again, it may not be around after this weekend, but that's what I've been up to. And also, one of these days, I need to update my website, www.theclowntimes.net. I think I already mentioned earlier they can find me on Facebook as well. So we're going to keep doing this. I'm trying to be good or better about this. It's been too damn long. So till next time, we'll see you next week. Peace.